Something about this place just unsettles me, that's all. Anyone would be unsettled when surrounded by these creepy dolls. But it sounded like what Suzuhara was talking about went beyond that.
意味とする場所って僕はあると思うんだ。
I think negativity zones must be real.
意味とする場所。
What are you talking about?
人だって慰めるのも励ますのもどちらも逆効果になってしまう感情の時ってあるよね。
Well, you know how sometimes it feels worse when people try to cheer you up.
一人にしておいた方がいい時ってやつですね。
You mean when you'd rather be alone?
僕は父さんに場所にもそういうところがあるって教わったことがあるんだ。
My father told me there were places that would have that effect too.
父さんはそれを意味とする場所って呼んでたけどね。
They're negativity zones.
汚れた場所ってわけですね。
Corrupted places, you mean?
そういう場所には用事もなく近づかない方がいいですものね。
Corrupted places are places you shouldn't visit at all, right? Unless you have to.
ありがとうございます、先輩。これからは気をつけますね。
Thanks for the warning, Suzuhara. I'll be more careful in the future.
実は先輩にお渡ししたいものがあって。
Oh, there's something I wanted to give you, actually.
だったら僕にも近づかない方がいいかもね。
In that case, you should probably stay away from me as well.
僕も汚れてるそうだから。
Because apparently I'm corrupted too. He said all that with a composed smile. I couldn't tell if he was serious or joking.
どうして先輩が汚れてるんですか？
And why are you corrupted, senpai?
さあね。でもさっきやった黒髪さんが僕にそう言うんだ。
I don't know, but Kurakami told me earlier.
僕は汚れているから二度と近づくな。不幸が訪れるって。
She told me not to approach her because I was corrupted. She said I could cause misfortune.
黒髪先輩はちょっとあれですからね。そんなの気にしない方がいいですよ。
Kurakami's always been strange. You shouldn't let it bother you.
先輩が汚れてるなんてことあるわけないじゃないですか。
There's no way you're corrupted or anything. When I met Suzuhara, it was love at first sight. No, something beyond that. Yet Kurakami said that approaching him would bring misfortune? How messed up is that?
ごめん。
Sorry.
ちょっと茶化そうとして言っただけのつもりだったのに、なんだか深刻な言い方になっちゃった。
I was just trying to lighten the mood. I didn't mean to sound so serious. Suzuhara smiled apologetically. Maybe he had just been venting from the shock of Kurakami's scathing proclamation.
行こうよ。みんな待ってるよ。
Let's go, the others are waiting.
先輩、待ってください。
Hold on a second, Suzuhara. I'd actually been waiting for the chance to be all alone with Suzuhara. I couldn't do this early because Etsuda and the others were watching, so this was the perfect opportunity. Perfect opportunity for me.
実は先輩に
I
お
want to give
渡
you
ししたい
something.
ものがありまして。
I want to give you something.
何？
What is it? A kiss? What is it? Back in the days before the collapse of the bubble economy, individual idols were raised with care, but gradually trends shifted toward idol units such as Kitty Cat Club and AKB Musume. Instead of being raised with care, they now had to fight against each other, so she must have given him a ticket to the concert. In that sense, my Cleaning Princess act was beyond lucky. It was rare to be raised with such care as an individual these days. But things were different. The staff, stage, lights, and everyone no longer be focused on me alone. I had to survive and stand out amongst a group to be acknowledged. I was Ruria Kurisu, the new me, who graduated after being reborn from Magical Lily.
こんにちは。私たちいつも全力青春体当たり。
We take on the challenge head first and live our lives to the fullest.
フラワーハイスクールです。
Flower High School. Nowadays, the Idol War was comprised of powerful, warring fiefdoms. Countless units were born and died without ever making names for themselves. But just the same, they all strive to be the next AKB or Clubber A. Flower High School was just one of those units. They were an all-female student group that fit perfectly into the category of passable, right between the major labels and underground labels. Their selling point was their intense dancing, which the members did until they couldn't dance any longer. Some even collapsed. It was overkill, but their sincere devotion to the task had made the rounds on the internet, resulting in a major boost of popularity. Eager to take advantage of the situation and hit it big, the agency had grown abuzz with the notion of auditioning a new member. It was from among many candidates that they chose Magical Girl Lily.
今日はいよいよ新メンバーを迎えることになっちゃったよ。
Today we introduce our new member.
みんなも知ってるよね。そう、あの人なんだよ。
You all know her, right?
私小さい頃めっちゃテレビで見てた憧れだったんだよ。
I used to watch her on TV all the time. I admired her so much.
マジカルリリーことクリス・リリア。カモン！
The former Magical Lily, Kurisu, Riria. Today's event featured several not quite major idol groups. Here, fans of different groups could interact with one another. Popular units would get more fans, as unpopular ones were weeded out. But that was only natural in this world. I wouldn't be buried. I would persevere as Riria Kurisu.
ハッロロー。みんな元気？
Hello, everyone pumped up?
この度フラハイの新入生として帰ってきましたクルス・リリアです。
I've returned as the latest transfer student in Flower High, Riria Kurisu.
ハートクリンクリンリリマジカルリリ
リリアちゃんのファンめっちゃ情熱的。
Our fans sure are passionate.
さすがマジカルリリーは違うね。
She's in a league of her own.
違うわ。もう私はお掃除の国のプリンセスじゃないの。
I'll have you know I'm no longer the princess of Cleaning Land.
プリンセスはもう女子高生。成長した私の魅力みんなに焼き付けちゃうんだからね。
That princess grew up and she's ready to show off her grown-up charms.
リリリリ
I wondered then if Suzuhara was somewhere amongst the massive crowd. I'd given him a VIP ticket, so he should be. Able to skip all the lines. What do you think, seeing how excited all these people are? Then again, he was a tough customer. I doubt he'd be swayed by other people's enthusiasm. It was strange. I've been on stage so many times that I'd stopped having nerves long ago. Yet my heart was pounding over the one boy amidst the sea of countless heads. I still didn't know what I saw in him. He seemed kind, yet also remorseless, in pointing out the truth. Perhaps I'd never met anybody like him before. Was that why my heart went aflutter? I thought it was the sadist type, but maybe I was the masochist all along. I discovered a new side to myself.
私たちフラワーハイスクール。
We are Flower High School.
新しいメンバーをよろしくね。
Best of wishes to our newest classmate.
この後ブースにてシングルを私たち全員で販売します。
You can buy our new single at the booth.
お買い上げの方には漏れなく推し名1名を選んでの生握手もできちゃいます。
Everybody that buys an album gets to shake hands with their girl of choice.
ブースで待ってるからね。絶対に来てね。
We'll be there. Be sure to stop on by. Okay, so they skipped the concert. Several other rival units came up on stage after. Flower High left the stage after announcing my debut and our new song to commemorate it. We took a short break, and then we headed for our booth. Everybody helping sell our single and shaking the customer's hands were both very important jobs. A customer could shake the hands of one member per purchased CD. The agency was counting the exact number we each got, of course, which would influence who took center position. Well, I already had a sense for the hierarchy. I wasn't naive. I knew it would be an uphill struggle. I had to work to keep my smile up and remember the faces of everyone who shook my hand. It would be all over if they started to think I was rude or arrogant. I had to treat every single one of them like kings so I could attract other members' fans one by one.
お買い上げありがとうございます。
Thanks for buying our album. You could see the other idols in the background.
握手は誰をご指名でしょうか？
Who would you like a handshake from now?
ちーちゃん一筋です。お願いします。
Chi all the way,
リリー
please.
ちゃんずっと応援してました。
Lily.
愛ちゃん指名で。
Hi.
リリーさん
Lily.
おー、リリーちゃん、さすがの人気。またご指名だよ。
Lily, you sure are popular. You got another request.
はーい、お買い上げありがとうございます。
Thanks for buying our single.
リリーちゃんピカピカマジックやってください。
Please use your sparkle magic, Lily. I can't do that anymore.
ピカピカマジックでクリーンクリーン。
With my sparkle magic, I'll make you clean, clean.
リリーがお兄ちゃんのハートをホピホピホッピーにしちゃうぞ。
I love you so much. I want to make you happy, happy, happy.
先輩来てくれたんですか？嬉しいです。
You're here too, senpai? I'm so happy. I just want to hear his line in full.
リリアちゃん応援に来ました。
He came here to show support.
学校では言えなかったけどここでは言える。
I couldn't say it at school, but I can here.
俺にピカピカマジックしてください。
Please use your sparkle magic on me.
もう夏やお兄ちゃんは仕方ないな。
What am I gonna do with you, Natsuya?
それピカピカマジックでお兄ちゃんのハートをクリンクリーン。
With my magic, I make your heart sparkly clean.
グライダー。
It was Flower High's rule to go all out until he collapsed. And that's why I had to give the fans what they wanted, even if it killed me. I put on my best smile to show my new self to those who had supported me since I was Magical Girl Lily. To stand out to the hardcore fans who bought enough copies to shake each member's hand. And to make those who picked a new member out of curiosity fall for me for real.
ありがとうございます。精一杯頑張りますので応援してください。
Thanks so much. I'll keep doing my best, so please support us.
リリーちゃん5枚買っちゃいましたよ。5回握手してください。
I bought 5 copies. Give me 5 handshakes.
人気すっごいね。さすがマジカルリリー。
That's the power of Magical Lily for you. My popularity today was like a welcoming ceremony for the new member. Some of these fans would be satisfied to have met me just once in their life. That wasn't good. Ideally, you'd want to keep them coming back. You'd have to make zealous fans of them. In that sense, the other members were all passionate zealots who kept coming back for more. Magical Lily's fans just came to celebrate her long-awaited return. They hadn't necessarily been converted into Riri Akusu fans. I wondered if Suzuhara was there. I felt like he was, if he was, I felt like knowing he was would be motivating. Idols worked for everyone's sake, that's a rule, set in stone. But a part of me wondered if it was okay to work hard just for Suzuhara's sake, at least until he acknowledged the new me. Oh no, I can't think about this sort of thing on the job. I hope Suzuhara comes by soon. I could tell he was probably in the line. After all, there'd been a bond between us since long before we met. Just then, I felt like I picked up on a signal. This kind of reminds me of Parasite, the anime, not the movie. And remember, there was the girl that had like the ability to pick up on like if the guy was around because it was like a signal flare. If he was around, it would she would feel it in her psychic ability. But it turned out it wasn't him, it was like a monster. So I wonder if it's a similar thing with this. He stood out like a sore thumb. Clearly not used to these sort of events. Oh, did our eyes just meet? Yes, they did.
だったら僕にも近づかない方がいいかもね。
You should probably stay away from me.
僕も
I'm corrupted. But why would he have said that to me? No, this wasn't the time. I had to focus on the work before me.
お買い上げありがとうございます。
Thanks for buying my single.
握手は誰をご指名でしょうか？
Who would you like to shake hands with now?
リリーちゃんで。
Oh.
リリーを指名してくれて
Thanks
あり
for,
がとうお兄ちゃん。
thanks for choosing me, mister. A little girl ran in from behind me. It was me, Lily, but it wasn't me.
リリーちゃん。
ありがとうお兄ちゃん。リリー嬉しいよ。
I'm gonna kind of skim through some of these responses, but yeah, she's, thanking her fans who are like, Lily-chan, I've been your fan since forever.
リリーちゃんのことネットでは劣化したとかなんとか言ってる輩もおりますが、
People on the net said you fell from grace.
僕の中ではマジカルリリーの輝きは永遠ですぞ。
But your sparkle will live in my heart forever. Magical girl Lily's a total hag after 3 years. Who did Magical Girls Lily's fans even think they are? Lily's totally out of place. She looked really pissed off too. What's she even doing in Flower High? Her dancing was totally out of sync. Who the hell is that She-Hulk? They should just kick her out already.
ネットは荒れてるみたいですけど、僕はずっとマジカルリリーを応援してますからね。
There's trolls out there on the internet, but I'll always support Magical Girl Lily.
リリーちゃんがどんなに変わっちゃっても僕の愛は変わりません。
I'll always love you, no matter how much you change.
劣化とかオワコンとか言われてますけど、そんなの気にしちゃダメですよ。
Don't let people bother you on the internet, even if they say you're a fossil or past your prime.
リリー気にしないよ。だってお掃除の国のプリンセスだもん。
I'm not worried, I'm the princess of Cleaning Land.
せーの、ピカピカ。
みんなのハートをクリンクリン。
おー！リリマジカルリリー。
More and more people were asking for Magical Girl Lily, but no one asked for Ruria Kursu.
もう大忙しで参っちゃうね。
Geez, it's not easy being popular.
そこ私の場所。どいてよ劣化ババア。
That's my spot. Get out of the way, you old hag.
あんたは
You're
お掃除の国のプリンセスマジカルリリーです。
Magical Girl Lily from Cleaning Land.
あなたのハートをクリンクリン。そしてあんたはかつて私だった残骸ね。
And you're the carcass that used to be me.
残骸。
Carcass, why you?
見てよ私の体。
Look at me.
みんなが夢に見る理想の妹。キュートで可愛くてちょっぴり小悪魔。
I'm the little sister everyone wishes they could have. I'm cute as a button, with just a touch of mischief in my heart.
抱きしめたら折れちゃいそうなくらいに華奢だけど、そうせずにはいられないほどに愛くるしい。
I know I'm dainty, so I look like I'd break if you hugged me, but I'm so gosh darn cute. You can't help but want to anyway. I knew these words. I'd said them in my head all along.
それに比べてあんたのその体はなーに。
I said them in my head a long time ago. But look at you. What can you say about your own body?
化け物。
It's like a monster's.
マジカルリリーは永遠のお姫様なの。あんたなんかどっかに行っちゃえ。
Magical Girl Lily will be a princess forever. You get lost, you old hag.
汚い化け物。ピカピカマジックでクリンクリン。
With my sparkle magic, I'm gonna make this hideous monster squeak clean. Oh, that sounds bad. That doesn't sound good.
リリー大丈夫？立ちくらみ？
Lily, are you okay? You've been standing too long?
張り切りすぎだよ。休んだら？
You've been working yourself to the bone. Why don't you take a break?
ありがとうございます。握手は誰？
クルスリリアさんで。
Kurusuriria. Oh. That was the first time today anyone had called me Ruria Kurusu. Suzuhara,
見てたよ
I was watching you.
踊り。すごい頑張ってたね。
That was some amazing dancing.
君のリリーとは違う新しいクルスリリアを
Today you showed me a brand new Rirya Kusu.
しっかり見せてもらったからね。
It's completely different from Lilia. Or Lily. My eyes were so fogged up with tears I couldn't see. I knew there was something special about Suzuhara. I didn't care if others didn't understand. As long as he did, that was all he needed. I shook his hand. Suzuhara's hand was cool. But when I held it, I felt something frozen in my heart begin to thaw. Oh.
おお、ススハラじゃねえか。
いやー、夏くん、こんなところで会えるとは思わなかったよ。
Oh, if it isn't Suzuhara, I didn't know you were here. Hi, Natsu. I didn't see you here either.
誰目当てで来たんだ？やっぱリリアちゃんか？
Who'd you come to watch? Was it Rirya? It was Rirya, wasn't it?
マジカルリリーの良さをこれほど短時間で気づくとは。さすがススハラ、グレイトな男だぜ。
I can't believe you came around to Magical Lily so quickly. You really are a great man.
リリアちゃん、頑張ってたね。
Rirya worked so hard, didn't she?
ダンスもキレッキレだったよな。さすがはマジカルリリーだぜ。
And her dancing was out of this world. That's Lily for you.
ところでさ、シングルってどこで売ってるの？
By the way, where do we buy the single?
ああ、お前まだシングル買ってねえのかよ。アングレイト。
What? You didn't buy one? How ungrateful of you.
リリアちゃんに挨拶していきたくてさ。さっきから迷子になってるんだよ。
I want to go say hi to Rirya, but I'm totally lost.
ススハラを迷子にさせるとはな。この会場は実にグレイトだぜ。
This place must be great if you of all people get lost in it.
俺が案内してやるよ。こっちだぜ。
I'll show you the way. Come with me.
あれ、こっちだったかな。あれあれ
Wait, which way was it?
ね、迷うでしょ？
See, easy to get lost, isn't it? Uh-oh, so who's over there with her? Late that night, my phone started glowing. I didn't know the number, but I had my suspicions.
はい。
ススハラです。夜分遅くにごめんね。
It's Suzuhara. Sorry for calling so late.
いえ、なんか予感してましたから。
Oh, it's no problem. I had a feeling it'd be you, you know. For a moment, I wondered how Suzuhara got my number. But I didn't feel the least bit unsettled. After all, I wanted to know what his number was, too.
何でしょうか。
So what is it, Suzuhara?
なんだろうね。
Good question. What a weirdo, but it sounded like he had me figured out entirely. After all, I was the one who had business with him. But I couldn't think of what it was. No, that wasn't it. Maybe I just felt like I didn't need any silly reason to talk to him.
カーテン開けてみて。
Look out the window.
カーテンって。
The window? You mean mine? I opened the curtain. The night sky. I saw the residential district blanketed by night, same as always, but there was a familiar face under the streetlight in front of the house.
散歩でもどうかなって思って。
I was wondering if you'd want to go on a walk with me.
男の人に真夜中のお散歩を誘われたなんて初めてで戸惑ってます。
This is the first time a boy has ever invited me on a midnight stroll. I don't know what to say.
リリアちゃんがしたいかなって思って。
I figure you might like to.
そうですね。私もそんな気分でした。
You're right, I would. When I look back on this event, I realize I should have questioned it more. I never told anyone my home phone number, to say nothing of my cell phone number. It wouldn't have taken much thought to realize he shouldn't have known it. But at that time, all I could think about was Suzuhara understood me completely, so I didn't find anything strange about him knowing my number. You know what they say about something being blind. And so I devoted myself to that thing that looked like Suzuhara, without finding anything odd about it. But don't get me wrong, Suzuhara. It's not like I trusted your doppelganger specifically. I trusted it because I thought it was you. We know, probably it was only me, talked about a lot. I felt I could tell him anything. We shared several nights like that. He knew the more I vented, the better I felt. But all I vented about were my own weaknesses. The more I admitted them, the more I became addicted to him like a drug. Eventually, I came to depend on the thing that resembled Suzuhara with every fiber of my being. Before him, I was no more than a little girl, bearing her weaknesses and unleashing her troubles. I told him everything and believed whatever he had said without question. But I didn't mind if he thought I was weak.
きっとリリアちゃんはまだ迷ってると思うんだ。
I think you're still trying to make up your mind if you ask me.
迷い
My mind about what?
クルス・リリアとして新しい出発をするか、
Whether to make a new start as Ryukusu,
それとも
or
マジカルリリーで居続けることを選ぶか。
to keep existing as Magical Girl Lily.
それができたら私は最初から苦しまなかったです。
It wouldn't hurt nearly as much if I could decide that easily.
そうだよね。
True. By no means did I hate Lily. She brought me to the height of popularity, the manifestation of the first and last stroke of my luck. But I didn't want to let go of her if I didn't have to. What I really wanted was to stay Magical Girl Lily forever.
なのに体はどんどん
But my body, it keeps getting
醜い姿に
uglier and uglier.
ブクブクブクブク脂肪がついて胸もお尻も
I keep getting fatter and more
こんなに
grotesque by
醜
the
くなって
day.
私だってこんな体にならなきゃずっとリリーでいたかった。
I didn't want this either. I could have stayed as Lily forever if it weren't for my awful body.
正直に言えたね。
So there's the truth.
偉いよリリア。
Proud of you, Ruria. That was the first time he'd ever said my name so tenderly. I felt so good, like we'd grown closer. I felt tears run down my cheek.
マジカルリリーには戻れない。
I can't go back to being Lily.
応援してくれたみんなが劣化だのババア化だのノッポだの。
All my fans say such horrible things about me now.
だから私はクルス・リリアに生まれ変わらなければならないのよ。
That's why I gotta be reborn as Ruria Kursu.
戻れる方法があるとしたら、
If there were a way you could go back,
リリアは
would you take it? Didn't sound like he was spouting nonsense. I knew if it were possible, I wanted to do that more than anything. That's right, he must have been waiting for me to say that.
それは
And what is that?
君は信じてくれるかな。いや、いくらなんでも無理だよね。
Would you believe me? I doubt you would. It's far too preposterous.
何ですか。もったいぶらないで見せてください。
What is it? Tell me. He took something out of his pocket and showed it to me. It was a small black bottle. No, I only thought it was a small black bottle. Upon closer inspection, I realized that it was the contents that were. They swayed back and forth when Suzuhara shook the bottle. Fine grains, like sand in an hourglass.
何ですか。
What's that?
インドのずっと北の少数部族に伝わるとても珍しい薬草の粉末なんだ。
This is a powder made from extremely rare medicinal herbs, passed between a select few tribes in the northern reaches of India.
その部族では知恵者である長老を延命させるためにある飛薬を使っていたんだって。
Those tribes use secret medicine to keep their elderly sages alive.
それが
And that's it.
これ。
延命の飛薬。
It extends your life.
その噂が古代中国に伝わり、不老不死の薬と語られたこともあるんだそうだよ。
It seems rumors of a medicine that bestowed eternal youth and life made their way to ancient China as well.
さすがに不死の効果はないよ。人は必ずいつか死ぬ定めなんだから。
But it doesn't grant eternal life. All human beings are fated to die at some point.
でも不老の効果は本物なんだ。
So it sounds like it cuts your life probably a ton, but it gives you the youth part.
不老って老いないってことですか。
You mean you won't age?
全身の細胞を活性化させ、長老の老化を食い止めることができたんだって。
It'll stimulate the body's cells to hold back the aging process.
でももともと全身の細胞がすでに老化している人にはその程度の効果しかないけれど、
That's the only effect it has on the elderly.
若者が摂取すると 若返りの効果があるんだ。
But if you're young, it can reverse your aging process. So no way. This is the first thing that came to mind, but I didn't say it. Because if I did, my last hope would be gone forever.
嘘なんかじゃないよ。ちゃんと聞く。
It's not impossible,
証
I have
拠もある
proof.
んだ。
誰か試したんですか？
Someone's tried it? Me.
僕がその証拠だよ。
That someone was me.
僕はいくつくらいに見える？
Tell me, how old do I look to you? So he's gone back in time quite a bit. Which doesn't make any sense, but... How old do I look to you? I understood what he was implying, but that would mean...
普通の高校生に見えます。違うんですか？
You look like a high schooler, is that wrong?
僕の本当の年齢はもっともっと上なんだ。
The truth is, I'm far older than that. I couldn't be. Suzuhara had a baby face. He definitely could pass for a middle schooler. Actually, had we not met at school, I'm almost certain I would have mistaken him for one. Suzuhara whispered his true age to me, but that would make him older than my father. I just couldn't believe it.
僕はものすごい未熟児として生まれてね。半年は生きられないと言われてたんだ。
I was born very early, you see. My parents said I wouldn't last half a year.
幸いにも1歳の誕生日を迎えられたけれど、病院で管につながれたままの
I did
寝た
make
きり
it.
だったよ。
I did make it to my first birthday, but I had to stay in the hospital on life support the whole time.
もちろん保育園も無理だし、学校なんてとんでもない。
I couldn't go to kindergarten, much less a regular school.
ずっと来年までは生きられないと言われ続けて、それを繰り返してずっと生きてきたんだよ。
I was continuously told I wouldn't make it to the end of the year, yet I kept surviving at every turn. Normally, you'd just write this off as nonsense. But though it sounded unbelievable, I found myself accepting the story. I told him everything about myself, so I wanted to accept everything that he told me about himself, no matter how strange it sounded.
幸いにも僕は成人してから少しずつ健康になっていってね。
Fortunately, I grew healthier once I reached adulthood.
20代の頃には少し病弱な程度の普通の体になっていたよ。
But by my 20s, I had a normal body that was only slightly weaker than average.
でも僕は保育園にも小学校にも通ったことがない。
But I never got to attend kindergarten or grade school.
誰もが当たり前に通ったはずの学校。
I was so sad I couldn't
そ
look
こ
the
に
way
通え
my
なかっ
peers
たこと
had.
は僕にとってあまりに悲しいことだった。僕は当たり前の子供時代をぽっかりと失って大人になってしまったんだ。
I lived to be an adult, but the cost of my childhood.
そんな時偶然この飛躍に出会ったんだよ。
It was at that time I happened across this medicine.
じゃあ先輩はそれを飲んで若返っ
So you took the medicine, became younger?
おかげで小学校、中学校、そして高校の生活をこうして送ることができたんだよ。
Yep, thanks to that medicine, I've been able to attend grade school, middle school, and now high school.
信じられない。
But that's unbelievable.
僕は一度きりの生を普通に送りたかっただけなんだ。
I just wanted to live a normal life.
生まれつきの体質でそれが叶わなかったけど、
My body might have
この
stolen
薬
that
のお
from
かげでそれを取り戻せた。
but the medicine gave me a second chance.
だからこの薬は僕にはもう不要なんだ。
So I no longer need it.
じゃあ
Then you'll...
それは
君さえ良ければあげるよ。
Yeah, I'll give it to you if that's what you want. He gave me the bottle. Can you believe it? I was holding a medicine too fantastical for even most fairy tales. But if this was a dream, I didn't want to wake up from it. Excuse me. Because with this, I'd have my adorable Bonnie back, the one that made me Lily, the one everybody knew and loved. But of course, that was all a total lie. Just how crazy was I to believe in it? A medicine that turned back the biological clock, that sort of thing would made international news ages ago if it were real. Huh? You think it's sadder that I thought you had a baby face? Sorry. But I never could have dreamt he was lying. Because I trusted you. That's why I took the shady medicine without question. Did she drink it, like, immediately? I decided to use it right away, like he told me to. I would cleanse myself in the bathroom, then put a little bit of the powder in my palm. The smooth black grains quickly melted into ink in my warm hand. When I poked it with my finger, I saw it was pure liquid. No matter how much I stirred it, it remained the same inky black. So I covered my hands with it. My palms became pitch black, not like the darkness of ink. Resolving myself, I covered my belly with it. The darkness never faded, no matter how much I spread it around. Just as Suzuhara had said, even just a little bit was enough to cover my whole body. Eventually, I looked in the mirror to discover I looked like a jet black mannequin. Only my eyes still held any shine, making me look like a monster peeking out of the darkness. But I couldn't let it bother me. It was already enough of a monster as it was, so nothing that happened with my body could faze me anymore. But I was only jet black at first. Just as he told me, the color started to fade, like I was being sucked into my body. The black faded away with each passing moment, and after a few minutes, was gone, like it had never been there to begin with. I ran my fingers across my skin, only to find something twitching underneath it. I didn't find it strange at all. I figured the lymph circulation must be improving my metabolism. Uh-oh. Body horror time. He was right, I'm changing. I felt the change right away the next morning. It wasn't much, but I could tell when I looked in the mirror every day.
私幼くなってる。
Getting younger. I hope they speed this up a little.
それはすごいね。ほんの数日で実感できるくらいに変化があるなんて。
That's incredible. I didn't think you'd feel change in just a few days.
先輩と違って私現役 JK ですんで。
Unlike you, I'm high school aged.
細胞が若いから僕よりもずっと効きがいいんだろうね。
It's probably having a stronger effect on you since your cells are younger.
これを毎日続けていけばもっともっと若返れるんですよね。
I'll get younger and younger if I use it every day, right?
でももうもらった分がなくなっちゃいました。
But I've already run out.
大丈夫だよ。
I have more.
次は肌になじませたら内側からなじませないといけない。
Once your skin on front gets used to it, you gotta get used to it on the inside too.
でも今度は少し刺激が強いと思うよ。
The kick will be a bit harder this time.
内側からなじませるって
What does that
ど
involve?
うやるんです？
Drinking it?
そんな難しいことでも若い分きっと反動が強いと思うんだ。
I'll show you, but I think the side effects will get stronger the younger you get.
痛いとかうずくとかその程度なら全然平気です。
I could take aches and pains if that's all it takes.
体の根本を作り直すからね。しばらく風邪に似た症状が出るかもしれない。
You're rebuilding the foundation of your body, so you might have symptoms similar to colds for a while.
僕の時でも熱が出たような感じで少しふらついたから。
Back when I used to use it, I got dizzy from the fever.
それくらい
It's nothing.
じゃあやり方を教えるよ。
Look at his eyes. I'm pretty sure they didn't look like that earlier. I could be wrong, but those are not the same eyes that he normally has. Then I'll tell you how to use it. I was an idiot. I actually took that mysterious powder as told and put it inside me this time too. But it actually felt like I was getting younger. I actually believed I could return to my heyday as Lily, and I could show you how special I was. Just as Suzuhara told me to put the powder into a tube-shaped piece of rolled-up paper and put it in my mouth. In hindsight, I think that thing was smiling when it saw me do that, yeah? Like, he knew I'd get he knew he'd drag me into something from which I could never turn back.
吸ってみて。むせないように。
Breathe it in. Be
Feels
careful
good.
not to choke on it. I hadn't felt anything when I'd applied it to my skin, but this time I immediately felt dizzy. I ignored it and continued to inhale, and before long I felt the heat building up in me as though my chest were on fire. It was a bit dazed, like when you spend too much time in a bath. Not even the spiced sake I had for New Year's made me feel like this. Suzuhara was right to say this had a lot more kick if just inhaling it was enough to cause all this. By the time I finished taking the entire dose, my body was burning up so badly I wanted to throw off my clothes. He told me that that was a sign my cells were working to make me younger. But it was a lie. Even after I went to bed and closed my eyes, the fire in my chest didn't fade. Quite the opposite, I felt aches different from the pounding of my heart, along with something coursing through my body. It was like I had a swarm of worms crawling through my lymph nodes and blood vessels. Normally I'd be disgusted by the sensation, but I saw it as a sign of my body turning young. By the next morning, I couldn't get out of bed anymore. I had a high fever and my body was swollen, my joints ached. My mother said it was probably a cold and scolded me for going too far on my nightly walk. But I couldn't afford to stop my secret meetings with Suzuhara. There was a precise dosage and so on involved, so I couldn't take it without his instruction. I had to keep this up until I got Magical Lily's body back. I stayed in bed with a high fever through the day, snuck out when I was feeling better at night, and had Suzuhara give me the medicine. This routine went on for several days. Parents told me to go to the hospital, but I didn't want a doctor to order me to stop, so I skipped in secret. My face in the mirror looked haggard. However, I was convinced this was part of the process of destroying my monstrous form within me. And then 1 week had passed when I started taking the medicine. At this point, I was starting to get vertigo in addition to high fevers, and it was a struggle to get out of bed. I figured my parents would call an ambulance if I made a fuss, so I put up with it, no matter how hard it got. Once my rendezvous with Suzuhara drew near, I forced myself up, despite the pain. My fever was so bad that day I could barely move, but my phone was beeping to let me know the time to meet Suzuhara, and so I hurried onward. I had started seeing the world as mushy and distorted. It felt like I was pulsating from time to time. I couldn't tell if I was walking on my own 2 feet or if I was rolling about while still asleep. Even the handrail by the stairs had grown so accustomed to warped in my eyes, and so it took a lot of effort to get down the stairs without falling. Fortunately, my parents didn't notice and I managed to get outside. Fortunately, an odd choice of words, wasn't it? I'd have been much more fortunate if I just collapsed then and there. Uh-oh. Suzuhara, sorry I'm late.
やっぱり若いから刺激が強いんだね。
It really is strong. It must be because you're young.
どうした？
What's wrong?
熱かな。おかしく。
You look weird. Is it the fever? I knew that had to be Suzuhara, but he looked different. I figured that must have been a fever messing up my vision. But while his voice was the same, his body wasn't. It was like a big black shadow. It had long hair that fell to the ground and horns that looked like withered branches growing out of its head. The dim glow from the streetlights didn't illuminate much, so I couldn't see the look on his face. But his voice was still Suzuhara's, so I still believed him.
今夜の服用で薬はおしまいだよ。
Tonight's dose is the end of the medicine.
あとは楽にして時間に任せて体が作り変わっていくのを待つだけだから。
Afterwards, just let time do the work. Rest your body and wait for the change. Suzuhara's voice sounded odd from time to time. Something must have been happening to my ears. I was in a daze and on the verge of collapse, but it was the last time, so I endured, figuring I could sleep all I wanted. At Suzuhara's urging, we sat down by the park's flower bed. When we did, he opened his right hand and tilted his palm downward. Something seemed to flutter down from it. It was black and light like a tiny feather. but it reflected no light in the streetlights. And then what looked like black snow or soot began raining down. Suzuhara caught the soot in his left palm, forming a small mountain. He then kneaded the soot with his hands, changing it into the shape of a thin tube. This was the last of the medicine. This was the end of the line for me. I was dizzy and I couldn't trust what I was seeing. Suzuhara must have realized that because he took my hands and helped me.
さあ
Do your best.
頑張って。これで最後の薬だよ。
This is the last of the medicine.
これを吸い込めば呪いのすすが全身に行き渡るよ。
Once you inhale this, the cursed soot will inhale your whole body.
これで私マジカルリリーに
This will turn me back into Magical Lily, right?
戻れるよ。ほら、吸って。
Yes, now inhale. I did as I was told. I inhaled deep into my lungs. And when I did, my head was filled with a burst of pure light. I was still dazed, but the sense of fatigue and suffocation that had plagued me cleared up. I'd hit the peak. The week of penance must have finally borne fruit. Just then I saw someone slowly walk out of the light. It was a cute little girl. It was me back in the good old days when I was petite and adorable. Tears of gratitude welled in her eyes and she smiled appreciatively at me.
私を取り戻すために頑張ってくれてありがとうババア。
Thanks for bringing me back, old hag.
ババアは余計。これで私たちはマジカルリリーを取り戻せるよ。
Old hag? That's going way too far. Now we can finally get Magical Lily back.
あんたは私と一つになるの。
You and I will become one.
これで一番輝いてたあの頃を私たちは取り戻せるわ。
And together we can take back the time where we shine the brightest.
先輩に認めて
Will Suzuhara acknowledge
もらえ
me?
るかな。もちろんだわ。私の微笑みに耐えられる男の子なんているわけないもん。
Of course he will. There's nobody out there who can resist my smile.
それも鈴原先輩のためだけに微笑むの。
And it'll be a smile just for him.
みんなのリリーじゃない。先輩だけのリリーになるの。
I'll be Suzuhara's Lily, and nothing else.
そうしたら絶対先輩のハートを私だけのものにできるんだから。
And then I can take his heart for my own. I just know it.
できるわ。だってその姿こそが。
Yes, we can, because that body is the best I've
私の
ever had. She slowly embraced me. I'm gonna save and stop here. I'll get the ending tomorrow. See ya.